guy alone inside. He's got the breakaway with the touch to the right. Goal! Everything you wanted from this debut. It's Brandon By. Taking a shot with the left. Goal! Isaac Frank from 25 yards out. The equalizer. Will Kidd with the touch of the goal. It's a go-ahead goal. Minneapolis City.
This is the People's Pitch Podcast, the official podcast of your Minneapolis City Soccer Club, brought to you by Summit Brewing Company.
Just like Firehouse said, John, when I look into your eyes, I see a ray of light. Welcome, people, to a rare face-to-face recording of the People's Pitch. I am here, as always, with my co-host, John Bisworm. This is the one and only podcast for your Minneapolis City SC. John, we're flying today, man. We've got World Cup soccer on TV. We're basking in the glow of 6 points over the last week.
Just two dudes drinking, doing a podcast on a Tuesday afternoon.
Nothing wrong with that. You know, we got a lot to get into this week. We've got a recap of that makeup match against the Twin Stars, and then Sioux Falls really felt the heat this Saturday up in Osseo. We're gonna go goal by goal in that recap, and we
said was succumb to the humidity.
That's true. It was more the humidity, less the heat. We'll take a look at the NPSL North table, and we're gonna crunch some numbers, and we're gonna allow ourselves to start thinking about playoffs here, I think. And we will get you, the fans, ready for yet another jam-packed week of soccer. We're going to hit return fixtures against Twin Stars right away and LaCrosse. And finally, those U23s were in action, John. He's going to give us an update on the next generation of Crows. Get ready. We're going to baby bird some soccer straight down your gullets. It is the People's Pitch Podcast. So, much anticipated, much talked about game.
Do I need to every time we talk
no, just me.
Now?
No, that was me getting started.
I'm not holding the talking stick.
Yeah, that's true. The much maligned Twin Stars match came to fruition, and it is here and gone. Where last year this could have been a game where emotions got the best of our team. This year discipline prevailed, and we pulled out another victory for this season. Starting lineup in North Minneapolis, Brooklyn Center, wherever the hell we were.
Very familiar.
Yeah. So Matt Elder in goal. We had a backline of AO, Trey, Max, and Charlie. We had Steve and Max as the holding midfielders and Martin as the number 10. And our attackers were Will and Whitney on the wings and Tim Wills. A bench we traveled with James, Josh De La Rosa, Siku, Mark Haight, AJ, Aiden O'Driscoll, and Nick Hines. Interesting to note, John, we anticipated that we would see the best of Twin Stars to start this game, but neither Sean Teskey nor Kareem Darbaki started. I assumed that Twin Stars rolled out kind of a secondary lineup due to having just played a game the night before and getting ready for a game on Saturday, but whatever.
I went to the match the game before to do my scouting duties.
Yeah.
And and it was 5 minutes from my house, being at Minnetonka High School, and it's a lot easier for me to roll over there than it is to get down to wherever the heck Prairie Seeds is to watch them play. But they I don't know what they were thinking. They did the same thing in that game where they started Ibrahim Traoré in goal and for the first half, and then Teskey came in the second half, which I thought was resting him to play the full 90 against us. But they did the same thing. And then I also, Kareem did get hurt in the game, picked up a knock. So I think it was precautionary to see, can we see it out with him as long as we can until he comes in. But by and large, everybody else that was on their roster that played in that game featured for at least 45 to 60 minutes.
Oh, wow.
If not a full 90 the day before. So I really don't know what they were thinking going into that. I think maybe a little less thinking than should have probably happened.
Why wouldn't you start Teskey? It's not like, no offense, it's not like, it's not like being a keeper.
For a half?
Right, it's not like being a keeper is a real drain on your stamina. You'll make a couple physical plays here and there, but what's the deal? And why do it 2 nights in a row?
I don't know. I see it the first night because you want to get a keeper fresh and getting minutes. But in this game, I thought Ibrahim did make a couple good saves. Tim Wills had a point. We'll get into it in more detail, but there was a point-blank header by Tim Wills, and he made a good reaction save on. But he has his deficits that I think are strengths for Sean Teskey, so I don't know why you would even entertain that idea. So, but anyways,
Strange.
It's not us, it's them. Strange.
Yeah.
The Kareem thing was...
Made more sense.
I saw that possibly happening when he went down with an injury and came out early out of that game.
So we came out attacking, and within the first few minutes, Will Kidd does some work, making a diagonal run. He's brought down in the box.
For the second time.
For the second time in that game already, and this was, 5 minutes in.
Yep.
Martin Brown Jr. steps up to the spot, and just like that, we are up 1-0 in the 7th minute. So something I've noticed this year, John, is that when he's not scoring goals, Will Kidd is creating chances, either with his play, with his passing, with his positioning. It's really great to see him develop like that into a multi-dimensional player that's really helping the team move forward.
Sure. It really is. And I kind of basically just equate it to, like, he is constantly making a positive impact somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's picking up those fouls that slow the game down when we need it to, or the fouls that are closer into dangerous positions. He's setting guys up. He's scoring goals. He's playing defense. He's really doing it all. But we'll hear from him in a little bit. But this year we have a whole new Will Kidd, and I love it. I really do. In the past, he was kind of in his comfort zone, being a role player in that hustle type position, where he was getting some goals, off of effort.
Yeah.
But now we look at it, and he is a fiery contributor, and he's leading by example on the field, and he's a very focal part of our attack. But in this match, it was the same story on a different day for him. He took players on. He was able to draw fouls in key areas outside of the incident that led to the Donnybrook, which we'll also talk about. And that was kind of like 20% his fault. If you're out of 100, that is, not out of 20. So it is 20% fault, his fault, which, like I said, we'll get into later. But outside of that, just Will Kidd punching the clock.
Yeah, I think so. Keep that in mind, young players listening, that the effort that you make off the ball, the effort that you make into your play, and the thought that you're putting into your play is just as important as being able to score goals and make those passes. It really makes you a full team player. So that's first half. Really kind of played out uneventfully. Both teams created a few chances that they couldn't capitalize on. I will say, John, that Matt and Trey were exactly what this team needed in this.
Max and Trey.
Is that what I said?
You said Matt.
Oh, well, Max and Trey. Exactly what this team needed to keep Chase Wright off the score sheet. He was something we were really worried about moving into this game. Mm-hmm. But they were really denying those balls that were going into the box that he was looking to find at the end of his runs. And really scoring chances were completely taken away in that first half.
For sure.
By that duo. What do you think about those guys?
Well, I think the partnership is completely the cement has set on those guys being our go-to partnership. Last year we kind of had a revolving door, a little bit of like 4.5 center backs kind of coming in and out.
True.
And this year we have, with injury, we didn't have Miles Norville for a stretch, but we had 3 of them. And I think that they all offer a different partnership together, and they're all good together. But this one is the one that we can kind of hitch our wagon to. They're hard to beat when the ball's on the pitch, and they're hard to beat in the air.
They're big dudes.
Next to impossible to beat when you're whipping in crosses. And we've gone against some prolific strikers that are good in the air and that are big, and they've been equal to it every time.
Repetto.
Mm-hmm. Jay Johnson's big. We
Yep.
haven't faced Farrar, but he kind of shies away from contact in the air. He's more on the ground type player.
Yeah.
You look at even some of the other guys we faced on other teams don't have the pedigree by name of those guys. They still fought.
That's still their game.
Yeah, that's still their game. Yeah.
So the second half gets a little bit crazier than the fairly uneventful first half. So Twin Stars in general had been playing a little bit physically in that first half, especially near the end. But hard fouls and a reckless style really took over in that final 45 as they struggled to find that offensive rhythm due to the amazing play of our back line denying and applying pressure. After, a 20-minute lightning delay?
It was 30.
A 30 full minutes standing around, which was, of course, worrisome. I just realized when we were talking that during this delay, because you saw lightning, all the fans are just standing on the metal bleachers like, wow, this is sucky.
Yeah, people are just chit-chatting on direct metal. Like,
Zero shelter provided, and nobody
Yeah.
putting any thought
There's
into
nowhere for us to
our
go.
safety, right?
When like the refs are like, go to your cars. I'm like, okay, then how do we know?
Then what?
Yeah, then what? So yeah. What if I didn't drive here?
Yeah. So after that, two incidents really stick out in my mind that kind of personify how Twin Stars were playing in that second half. First of all was the hard foul and then the shove on the ground on Will Kidd that went totally uncalled. And the second one is the chest bump, in quotes, but more the verbal abuse that the ref got after issuing a yellow. I'm going to start with the first one. So was letting this scuffle on the ground, this hard fall on Will Kidd and then this ensuing shove, was letting that get by without issuing a card what really led to the continued physicality throughout the remainder of the half? Or had that ship already sailed? Like, were we already in for it?
Well, the first one was an interesting one where it was really just good aggressive play as two players battling for the ball initially, but for some reason Chroma, he just took exception to what must have been something that had earlier set him off, and his challenge was just dangerous, and as a result caused all of it, the pushing and shoving that could have also gotten even further out of hand than it did. But I felt to keep the cool, the referee corps did a really good job. However, it's interesting to me that no cards are given. A double yellow seems like pretty standard in a situation like that, where you pull both players aside and you give them each a caution because they incited everything.
Yep.
Whether or not, like I mentioned, Will seemed to be like 20% at fault for that, and the other guy tackling him from like literally like
pulling him down from behind,
football form tackling him from behind, seemed to be the clear aggressor there. But we just kind of we stayed out of it, which was good there.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to see that. But to really keep the water from boiling over, especially with that ruckus taking place on the sideline in front of some very angry Twin Stars fans, it was well done on the referee side. But I think it's interesting that, like I said, your typical play there from a refereeing standpoint is double yellow. But
yeah, you did mention that something may have been setting this guy off earlier, and I think that as the game went on, you could tell that their water was reaching a boil. As they were getting frustrated.
Whenever we got the ball, it seemed like things were amped up a little bit.
And they were getting frustrated due to their lack of chances, due to us shutting down what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. The hot-headedness was building and building and building. I think there were a number of times that we were able to deal with that with humor. I think the Max Stiegwert like little jig he danced in order to deny a quick restart after a foul at midfield is one option that we were doing it a little more lightheartedly and able to kind of keep our heads.
You can do that when you're up a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and that was just an extra little dagger in their side that we were not only fucking with them, but we were doing it in kind of a less serious way.
Yeah, with less malice.
Exactly.
So the second one, though, Nate, that incident was much more interesting to me. The foul was called, and it wasn't one that really shook me as even close to borderline. It was a clear foul on a counterattack on Whitney Brown, but it was the aggression that the Twin Star player had in his reaction that is likely, to your point, where the SS composure had left the dock well before that play even happened. And the fireworks were not between both teams. It was the reaction of the Twin Stars player who, in all accounts, from being where I was sitting on the bench, he looked to have chest bumped the official. And with that said, some rather naughty words were directed in the face of the official. He did receive a booking, which was warranted, but touching an official is something you just don't do, whether it's with intent or on accident. Like in that instance, you get the card. You're amped up because you disagree.
Yep.
But they're not going to take the yellow card back.
No.
So why even continue there? Take your yellow card and just get back
and just move on. We saw that with Gigi Buffon when they awarded that penalty and he ran right up to the ref.
Yeah.
And touched him, and it wasn't like he was trying to shove him over or anything, but it was just you're fired up, you get too close, you bump him. Oh, sorry, there you go.
Right, exactly. So, like I said, he did receive the booking; it was warranted, but just never get that close to a ref. My issue comes with how players, really around the globe, are being policed against lashing out verbally and with gestures and and proximity to the referees when calls like that happen. So this to me seems like it was a textbook definition of that, and not necessarily considering it was minutes after the first issue, like literally minutes after it.
Yeah.
So it was like total lack of composure, really textbook definition of it.
Yep.
It really was. So we again came out of that with, we just stood around the ball and let all that stuff happen and waited for the ref to blow the whistle to take the free kick. So good composure on our players' side.
Absolutely.
To let that one go.
And we were able to still maintain composure after. It sounds like Aaron Olson got bit. Like there's a picture of it that the caption is, "This is right before, or right after he was bit."
Yeah.
And you can see him like on the ground looking at the ref, like, "What the?"
So
when did that happen? Did it happen?
I don't know, man. All I have to say is that who bites people outside of my toddler when he gets frustrated and can't express his emotions? I mean, as an adult, if it's your default in a sporting game to bite someone, you need to go get your head checked.
Fair enough, man. So Twin Stars finished this game out with a red card, and once they're down to 10 men, they just couldn't find their equalizer no matter how hard they tried. And they ended the game with 4 yellow cards and a red, which is pretty wild. I don't think I've seen a game accumulate that number of...
Not in our 3 seasons. We haven't been involved in a game like that.
No, I mean, we've gotten a couple straight reds before, but those were kind of the limit, right?
Maybe the first game against Duluth last year,
there might have
been equal a number of cards, maybe even more.
Yeah.
To be honest, because we got the red and we saw yellow a few times, so maybe. But this one seemed to be like that one-sided, where all the cards came from one other team. We haven't come across that yet.
Yeah. So last week, John, you said the keys to victory were threefold: keep an organized defense, pin back those wingers that were going to be kind of wing backs, really, but those wingers that were going to overload us on the side, and control the middle. They mixed it up on you because they moved Chase from one of the wingers to striker position, and they didn't start Kareem, who we needed to control through the middle. So that might have made the job easier, but how did we do?
We did well, Nate. Even though they threw that knuckler at us by not starting some players, I felt that the scoreline shows that we clearly kept things organized and tidy in the back. But we were really able to limit their chances to kind of half chances and mostly from distance. So they weren't getting anything that was too close on net, which is how they score a lot of their goals outside of a lot of breakaway goals they've scored so far this season. So we didn't necessarily pin back the wingers like you said, but what we did was we kept them out wide, and it was to not allow them to do damage coming in from the outside to find their shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a testament to our central pairing of in central midfield of Max and Steve staying connected to the back line. When we lost the ball, they were able to shift over and eliminate a 2v1 that would have happened if they didn't quickly get over there.
Right.
2v1 Twin Stars versus one of our outside defenders. So we made it a 2v2 situation, and then what that does is it forces them, in particular, in those specific areas, to either have a spectacular individual effort or to recycle and go backwards, which is totally fine for us. So I think that as a result, most times than not, we had a numbers advantage when they got the ball.
No, we'd already kind of practiced that when we planned for VSLT, because it's that same overloading on the wings
and Med City
that we had seen them try. Yeah, and Med City, who plays the same formation.
Yep.
We had seen people try that on us again and again, and we figured out a way to shut that down. So that was lucky for us that they delayed the game a month and let us get that research done.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. So, John, man of the match here for you?
So I think it goes to AO, Aaron Olson. He played lockdown defense and allegedly got big which in my book gives him the honor.
Sorry, okay, a little bit of a Purple Heart awarded to him.
So, but outside of him, what do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with Aaron. I think, especially in this game, he's the kind of guy that when faced with this sort of game, the way that it unfolded and the way that they treated our players, he's the first guy I would have expected to get a yellow, to come up yelling, to come up in the ref's face, to be very vocal and lose his head.
Wearing that armband, sometimes you got to be different.
He was on the receiving end of like a double-footed challenge that knocked him out, off the back line, things like that he was still able to keep calm, keep professional. So I'll give him kudos to that. I think otherwise I would say player of the game here is Max Stewart.
Yep.
Because like you said, he's able to
Control
the game, link up where we needed him to link up, shift over when we needed him to shift over.
Yeah.
And he was able to keep that lighthearted approach to what could have turned into a really ugly game for us.
Yep, totally agree.
So quick turnaround to Saturday to Osseo, where we welcomed Sioux Falls to the hallowed grounds of James D. Hansen Stadium.
The Jimmy D.
The Jimmy D. We talked last week about how this Minneapolis City team is a very different team than the one that traveled to Sioux Falls in May, not only
quite different
roster-wise, but the brotherhood is strong, right? And it showed on Saturday to the tune of a 6-1 victory, which is, I think, our biggest margin on the season.
And Nate, it set us in position to be the highest scoring team in the country.
In the country, right. So who scored all these goals? Well, the starting lineup for us, James Nair in net, AO wide with Trey and Max in the middle. So pretty standard 3 guys behind, and then Nick Hines slots in on the left back side, which is great. Aiden O'Driscoll gets the call from the U23 team. Yeah, he was looking really good, by the way, alongside Max Stiegwert with Martin in the attacking midfielder role, where he is now customary. And then our attackers were Will and Siku on the wings, and we had Whitney as the striker. The bench, another U23 heavy bench, which I think I would have expected, knowing that Sioux Falls is kind of a down game for us. We want to rest our key players. Troy Lewegi, who ends up getting the call-up from U23. Lionel Vang, U23 call-up. Juan Luis, Steve, Tim Wills, and Nick Hutton all on the bench. So Sioux Falls basically spots us 4 goals in the first half by starting their 50-year-old goalkeeper coach in net. Why would they do that? We've both seen Sioux Falls play a number of times this season.
And they started the second half goalie in both those games, and he played much better.
Yeah.
He's smaller. I don't know if they thought maybe there was an advantage there, but I thought Nordo had it best when he said he looked like Brad Guzan's older brother.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no. You remember when we played Croatians in the first first season, and he had Anti-Cop, yep, who actually is a decent keeper, and he was able to make a couple nice stops. This guy had no hope.
No, didn't hang on to anything.
No flexibility.
Couldn't get down for shots on the penalty. I don't think he even dove.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, well, I don't know.
So Will starts the scoring. Whitney has a brace. Martin gets another one from the penalty spot. Juan Luis and Nick Hutton close it out. If you love seeing goals, I think you got to keep your eye open. Keep your eye on our Minneapolis City YouTube channel for this game to be posted. Because first of all, or just come to a game. But first of all, it's in right, because this is one of. I think there are only 2 games we haven't scored 5 goals so far in the season, or something insane like that.
And one of them was a 3-goal game.
So, yeah. So you'll see some goals if you come to see Minneapolis City games. But otherwise, keep your eye on YouTube for it to be posted. I want to focus on 2 things from our offense rather than go play by play in a game that was a blowout from the beginning. Siku gets the start. Siku Chroma gets the start on, I think, the right side, and we've seen he can be shaky when it's time to shoot. There were a couple even missed chances he had against Eris that he probably should have buried. One real fluke long shot that he was able to turn on and put in net. But his service on Saturday, John, was undeniable. He took the ball right off the foot of a Sioux Falls defender. Perfect pass to Whitney a couple times for assists. How do you feel about how this guy fits in the team dynamic this year? Because he's been kind of a mysterious character. Is he starting to? Is he starting to gel a little better with everyone? Yeah,
I mean he is. We talked about it against Eris when we did the Eris recap. He's very much so a momentum type player. So he's got to have that killer pass that connects on a goal. He has to score himself, or to get into the rhythm, and then it's all positive from there. As opposed to when he comes in and he's fouled a couple times, or he's got to kill a game out by playing defense, which isn't his strong suit.
Right.
It's like we've just kind of thrown him into different scenarios, but this is the kind of game that's tailor-made for him to link up with people and to try to get on the score sheet, which he probably should have. But overall, I thought he played well, and he's only 19, which is a shocker.
Yeah.
So he's going to get better. And This is his first year with us. He's got his toe in the water, and it's only really up from here.
So Whitney, who hooked up with Siku Siku hooked up with him, I guess, for a sweet goal. Whitney's really feeling it.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That move he gave to score his second goal was super cheeky.
Just
where he
put
just
the goalie on, or like the defender on ice.
Yeah, that guy just scooted right past him as Whitney cut left, and then Brad Guzan's older brother had no chance to get down for that ball. Confidence in general and for Whitney is at 110%. Like I said, Will does a lot, including score. Nick Hutton's working hard on both sides of the ball, coming back on defense for in a place that you wouldn't see other past wingers do.
Yeah.
Tim does Tim things. We've scored the most goals in the NPSL this season right now.
Yeah.
We're at, 30 goals scored, which puts us at number 1.
Yep.
Above El Farolito, who has finished their season.
I think they've finished their season.
So maybe this is a dumb question, but our offense is clicking in a whole new way this year. What has changed?
I don't know if it's drastic change. I think it's more that we have a style of play, and we're not changing it wholesale. To like we last year we had kind of guys rotating in and out trying to find the right combination. We never found it.
Mm-hmm.
This year, our style of play is the combination, and our players with having consistent trainings and playing in it, and having the U23s to go up against to practice it.
Yeah.
So you're not getting to game time and trying to practice things, or to put them, put what you practice into play. You're getting it at training. I think it's a mixture of just varying up where we attack from. Like sometimes it comes through the middle, sometimes it comes from the wing, sometimes it comes from link up play through the center midfield, sometimes it comes from a diagonal direct long ball, sometimes it comes from an individual effort. We're not as one dimensional as we were. And it's another year of a lot of these guys playing together.
That's true.
And, a lot of the link-up play you see on, like, Hutton goals are coming from Tim, and they play on segments together.
Mm-hmm.
Or the link-up play is coming from Will Kidd to Whitney, who now they're in 2 years playing, and Whitney's uninjured and, like you said, confidence 110%. Or you're seeing, Steve link up with a line-clearing pass to Martin, who then sparks the attack to Whitney,
Yep.
I think it's just that consistency of the roster, and then adding in the pieces that we didn't have, like that hustle that Nick Hutton has, that forever engine, because we only had it in Will, but now you have it on both sides. So how do you stop it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just varying up how we come at teams.
That makes a ton of sense, because when you think about how teams could game plan for us, last year it was
stop Goose,
stop Goose, but also gum up the middle.
Yep.
And the Minneapolis City build up play that that is coached into them isn't gonna be able to work, and we have no way to move the ball
when
forward.
Teams pinned us back, so our mistakes were happening if you look at where we have mistakes, our mistakes are made with the final ball and not the build up play.
Yep. The last pass to maybe link up with a striker, or making the turn and taking an errant shot.
Right.
Absolutely.
Last year it was happening with our center backs having an errant pass, or our outside backs not having an option and then trying to do too much. Where this year it's happening further up the field, where we can then regroup and then defend. And
even if they are able to stop us in the final third, one way or the other, as that build up play moves forward, you stop Martin from moving forward. You get the ball back. All of a sudden, Max Stigwart picks a ball out, 55 yards back, and drops a dime to Nick Hutton.
Yeah, because he knows he's going to make the run.
Yep.
Because there's familiarity now, and it's just the style of play where it's interesting. Like we talked about this in my Stegman Sunday League game, actually, where we just don't have a style of play. We don't get the ball in the back and look for a center midfielder checking two. We look for a long ball. Where if we look number one, look for the guy checking two. If you don't have it, then go long, because we're skipping a level. And now this year we're not skipping the level, and our midfielders aren't losing the ball to the degree that they were last year.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's look in the middle. If it's on, they can turn, and then they can get it wide, and then we attack. Where last year it was possess, lose the ball, get countered on, give up a goal.
Yep.
So, I guess wholesale changes, to be honest, answer the original question.
Everything's different.
Everything's different. But we're just taking things to a different level this year.
Speaking of a different level, I talked to Will Kidd after the victory at Twin Stars, but I want to play it here because everything that we talked about during that quick interview is just as relevant after the Sioux Falls game, considering the body of work that he has put in throughout the week.
All right, I'm here with Will Kidd. Will, your performance has been consistently stellar over the last few weeks. That's been shown in a number of Players of the Week nominations, as well as a few goals scored. The effort that you've put in week after week has really led to chances all season, whether chances for you or chances for playmakers or other players on the team. No different tonight. Talk about kind of the increased effort and the way you've been able to find the goal and find other teammates to score.
Just hard work, basically. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Just getting on the ball, running at guys, taking them on, drawing fouls. It's just a key to my game. I try to do every game.
Drawing fouls is an excellent transition to this next one. So physicality, noticeably a big part of your game this year. Kind of a change from last year. What has changed? You've taken VSLT guy raked you in the face. I can see some scars on your arm and your body today. What's different this year?
I just decided it's time to be aggressive now. I decided to add aggression to my game. Try to play the mind game with some guys, talk a little trash, here and there. So yeah, just tried to add that to my game.
All right. The game today looked super contentious from the sidelines. Obviously, a number of questionable calls for and not for us that maybe should have been calls. Was it any better or worse on the field? Were you guys did it feel like they were going after you guys a little more? Or?
Yeah, definitely towards the end, Yeah, definitely towards the end. They're down one goal. They're doing everything they can.
Down one goal, down one man.
Yeah, down one man. They're trying everything they can. So, yeah, I'm sure they're pretty frustrated. They're getting a little chippy. That's part of the game.
So one thing I noticed tonight, speaking of your development as a player, you were way more vocal, and you have been way more vocal over the last couple of weeks. I know you've been challenging a little bit. I remember, against VSLT, couple hard fouls. You came up, John, at the ref. That's something we haven't seen over the last couple of years. Tonight, vocal again towards the refs, but also with players. Yelling at the teammates, talking a little bit more about where you are and where you need the ball to be. Is this kind of the new leadership role of Will Kidd, the 3-year veteran of Minneapolis City?
Yeah, I've been trying to take up a leadership or try to add leadership into my game. Coming up on St. Thomas, gonna be a senior there, a leader there. I'm trying to develop that because I've been a quiet player most of my life, but now I'm trying to add that to my game. Really direct the team, direct the guys, give them directions, and try to lead.
So with this win, top of the table, I think, as long as the VSLT result holds. Yep. Are we staying there, man? Does this feel like the team that has the momentum to stay number one and to move into the playoffs from the NPSL North?
I definitely feel good about this team this year. It's a great feeling. I feel like we're different ways. We're closing out games. I mean, it's just a different feeling this year. And I feel like, we're just going to keep it rolling.
All right. Thanks, Will. Another great shift tonight. We'll see you again on Saturday.
No big deal. All right, John. So this sounds like a guy ready to take his place as the key to the team. We're happy for him. I think, like you said, moving forward, he as he enters his senior year, he's going to be looked as a leader on this team and his team. So hopefully this season just preps him for that, and we'll see him bigger and better even next year.
Yeah, I think he kind of hit the nail on the head. He needs to take a leadership role because on St. Thomas, you're losing the Oliver twins, you're losing Shea Bottom. Mm-hmm. He's the next man up.
Yep.
So he has to break the mold of being the quiet role player, be the leader, and he's testing it with us.
Yeah, which is great. Great opportunity. Again, Minneapolis City providing amazing opportunities for the young players. Final comments, John, on this game. Man of the match?
I think Whitney Brown. It was basically, at its core, a basic shift from everybody else. They just did their jobs. He scores 2 goals. That does it for me.
Yep.
Doesn't
I agree. In a game like this, there's just so much production from everyone. I think we just have to focus on guy scored a lot, made some great runs, helped the team out. Way to go, Whitney. So, after this victory, we are sitting top of the table with 23 points. That is 4 points.
Very unfamiliar to us.
Yes, weird. 4 points ahead of VSLT. And dare I say it, we are in the playoff picture. It's starting to come into focus. Moving down from us, number 1, record of 7 wins, 0 losses, undefeated, and 2 draws at 23 points. We've got VSLT behind us. 6 wins, 2 losses, and I guess that's weird. 6 wins, 2 losses, and a draw at 19 points. Duluth in third place, 4 wins, 1 loss, 4 draws with 16 points. Twin Stars in fourth place, 4, 3, and 2 with 14 points. They're pretty much it. They're the only ones that could potentially catch us.
Yeah.
Even if we just tank the rest of the season, except for the Aris game.
Right. The interesting thing was follow on Twitter, which most of you who listen do. The Bavarians are like, it's about time that we're sitting on top of the table, and I was like, well, you do have you did start in 1929 and have 80 some years of experience winning ahead of us.
Yeah,
so.
Man.
We're trying.
It took a couple years. We're building it.
It's year 3, but it's very unfamiliar to us, Nate, for a couple different reasons. We always knew that we had a stingy backline going into even last year. What did we give up, 7 goals last year?
Yeah.
And we've given up 9.
It's fine.
It's fine. But we're seeing that there's a lot more goals scored this year.
In general in the whole
league. But then with us being the number 1 scoring team in the country, never would I ever have thought of that. I thought we'd have more 1-0 wins, 2-1 wins,
yes.
But we're having this plethora of 5-1, 6-1 wins where you'd like to have shutouts in those games because the best teams in the country do.
Yes.
But never would I have thought undefeated, over halfway point, and leading the country in scoring. What
does that say something about the lack of parity that the NPSL North is starting to experience, where Sioux Falls and Aris are dropping to the bottom of the pack? I guess we got lucky dropping 5 on VSLT, which nobody else has done.
No one
so
thought
that adds to that total. But in general, I feel like we are experiencing the same thing that maybe the Erie Commodores are experiencing or Ann Arbor is experiencing, where there are 2 to 3 teams that are the cream of the crop in their division, and then there's a bunch of doormats.
I think the way you put it, it's the 2 teams filtering down to the bottom, but it's also that the teams in the top half, like I mentioned it before, like the game planning for those teams, like knowing what to expect. There was some turnover in coaching, but the turnover in coaching to me doesn't seem like the
teams from the top half last year.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a preparedness and like game planning for other teams.
Yeah,
and we saw that in some of our results when we go against these teams, for the first time. Now we go against them for the second time outside of seeing Sioux Falls the second time, and we figured them out. Med City figured them out. They didn't change, and now we're going into the bottom half of the season, where are these teams gonna try to figure themselves out?
They might not be built for that kind of flexibility.
Yeah, where we are with our U23s, with our deep roster. Think about the fact we got Tommy Katsianis in yesterday, and he adds a dimension to our midfield that we maybe didn't have. So they can't game plan for him to come in because they haven't seen him yet.
True. Haha. So with only 5 games left in the season, John, you did the math. We can go 1 win, 2 draws, and 2 losses, and still keep second place.
And that's if everybody wins out.
Yep.
Yep.
We'll still make the playoffs. So as long as one of those draws is against VSLT or Duluth, we're in good shape. Duluth, moving forward, has the most favorable remaining schedule. They've got games left against Aris and Sioux Falls. In both cases, Duluth and VSLT. Med City can play spoiler. I think they should feel like they've got something to prove this year.
Yeah.
Especially last year, they did so well and fell off. This year, they've kind of maintained a flat level of productivity.
They want beat Twin Stars 3-1.
Right. So it's like,
come on, guys.
They need some consistency.
Yeah.
They can totally play spoiler. If they steal some points, that would totally help our cause.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the point in the season, John, where you see Duluth turning it on and VSLT falling off?
Maybe. From a Duluth standpoint, it's still yet to be seen that they can turn those draws into victories.
Yeah.
But VSLT has yet to prove to me that they can withstand a second half of a season.
Yeah. My gut also says yes. VSLT can shut me up with good showings this week. They have a game Wednesday, a game Saturday against Dakota and Med City, respectively. Moving forward, John, how are you feeling about these last 5 weeks?
Peeing a little bit.
Yeah. With excitement? Or
equal parts excitement, equal parts hold it together, guys.
Mm-hmm. Some nervousness.
Yeah, there's some nervousness in there. It's just I'm expecting for the worst, but I'm planning for the best.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more room for error than we had last year. At this point last year, we knew we were deep back in the table,
We were
and that
fighting
everything
for it,
needed to go perfectly for us.
and it almost did.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we haven't relied on other people doing our work for us. So I think that if we can get a little bit of that as we get into the bottom half of the season, we're in a good spot. We've positioned ourselves in a good spot with the first half, which was our goal.
Yeah.
Like, get through the first half in a positive position. Maybe second, third place, as opposed to last year, fifth, sixth place, having to fight for wins here and there and hoping other people help us. We're set up better this year to withstand a little bit of a storm, which it just hasn't come yet.
Mm-hmm. So barring disaster, we're looking pretty good for the rest of the season, and I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yep, so am I.
After Thursday's super contentious game, we play the Twin Stars again on Wednesday. We welcome them to James D. Hansen Stadium for the return fixture. What can we expect from them? Are they going to regroup and compose themselves, do you think? Or is this going to be a matter of we're going to get more of the same?
All I know, Nate, is we are worried about what we can control, and our focus is just on how we play the game. Not worried about what they do or what they can do. It's at our place where we don't have to worry about all the other stuff that historically has happened and been an issue when we don't play at our place. But I fully expect them to be physical, but hope, again, it's not dirty. It's just hard soccer and not dirty soccer, and that they'll likely toss at us the same 3-5-2 formation. And at this point, I have no clue from a personnel standpoint on who they'll roll out because it can change with a gust of wind.
Yeah.
So let's just control what we can.
So again, similar to how we dealt with last week, knowing that we have Eris, we're traveling to LaCrosse on Saturday. Are we going to just put everything we have into this game and make a statement? Like we're going to get the 3 points out of this. We're going to separate ourselves from the pack, and Saturday we can almost take the night off.
Okay, so I think to answer your question, simply we just treat it like any other game. And this naturally, Nate, rolls right into my old granddad, Keys to Victory.
Yes!
So my Keys to Victory for our game against the Twin Stars is control the pace of play. So what we have to really do is we have to get control of the midfield, and I anticipate that there will be a Darbaki in there, because unless he's seriously injured and can't go, he'll be there at some point. But we really need to make sure that we're organized in the middle like we were the last time, and that there's a connectivity between our back line and then our forward line, so that they're really going box to box. So what happened the last time we played them was our center pairing of Max and Steve, they were able to stay organized and then help out on the defensive end on the wings. But then when we had the ball, collect back into the middle and then try to spark our attack. So we have to keep that balance of play and control it in the middle and not let them turn. Let them go backwards as much as they want, but not let them turn, because when they do turn, they do a really good job of driving with the ball at us. Mm-hmm. And whether it's a center back, it's their 6, it's their 10, their 8, whatever it is, whoever has the ball in the middle, even a winger, they're looking to get forward and go with speed, and we have to just gum that up and then control it when we have it. The other one is score early, and we've said that multiple times. If we can get an early one on them, especially at home, and we stay composed, and my first point, we control the pace of play, then maybe 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, and then we see the game out. The last thing is stay safe. We saw how reckless some of the challenges were in the last game. We saw how composed we were. Let's continue that process.
Yeah.
And not get out of here with anything drastic. I thought, like, in the last game, the red card, the challenge on Josh De La Rosa, the straight red card, It was bad. It was dangerous, and it could have hurt him really bad. And I think that, like, the referees need to continue their form in policing and making sure that the dangerous points like that don't continue to happen, and that's getting control of it early, and I think that they will. So that'll help us stay a little bit safe, but don't play with the ball, pass it, get rid of it, make your runs, and don't position yourself in a spot on the field and then through the run of play where you can get that wild challenge coming that you can't expect by holding on to the ball too long.
So I agree with you. I think we got to keep our heads. Don't let them goad us into dumb mistakes.
Yep.
Don't let them goad us into committing fouls in bad positions and some unnecessary cards. I think If we can stay composed and stay organized, we shouldn't expect more of the same. So, City versus Twin Stars happens at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Wednesday night, June 20th. Late start time for us. And that's because we can afford to start late because we have lights in our stadium, John.
We do, yes.
Yeah, and locker rooms. Osseo Senior High School is the place. Locker rooms with lights. Yeah. There's electricity in the area.
And not lighting electricity.
You can find tickets online at mplscitysc.com. And then after that, we're going to pack up and head to LaCrosse on Saturday for what amounts to a good opportunity to rest our key players and get ready for a really tough homestand that we have coming up to close out the month, which is VSLT a week from tomorrow and Duluth a week from Saturday. Keys for victory at LaCrosse? Should we even ask? Should we talk about this?
Yeah, well, our old granddad keys to victory on Saturday is the first one, don't get sleepy. So you have the long drive. It can kind of tire you out, even if you're not driving. But what I mean is we've been afforded when we play against LaCrosse to have the lion's share of possession of the ball.
True.
And we saw ourselves get a little bit lazy with passing because it's almost like, oh, well, I can try this thing that's a little bit harder to do because I have all this space. And then we started seeing balls go out of bounds and where if we just played simple and were alert and making runs with purpose and not lazy, sleepy runs, that we maybe start hanging more goals up on the cross. So don't get sleepy. The second one is kind of the counter to that is rack up the goals.
Yeah, it felt weird to only score 5 against them.
Right. So let's just rack up those goals. Let's just light up that score sheet and let's try to keep the clean sheet on our end.
Mm-hmm.
The last one is it kind of naturally kind of works into that one is vary the attack. So now's your chance to, I said to kind of keep it simple and don't get sleepy, but you can vary your attack and try some new things that we can work on against teams that have more dynamic defenses.
Yeah, it's not a matter of like, I got all the space in the world, let's just try to loft one up. It's like you have to do it purposefully with the intent that you execute it correctly, but still like you're underloaded a little bit. You've got a little less pressure on you. Yeah. You're in a little easier, a little bit of an easier game, a little less worry about making a mistake.
Yep.
And being punished for that mistake. So try something, but execute to the best of your ability and see if it works.
Mm-hmm. Be calculated.
Yes, very good. Yep. So City will be visiting LaCrosse to play Eris. The game is 6 p.m. Saturday, June 23rd, according to the NPSL website. If you want to make that trip down, it's a real nice drive. It's at Viterbo soccer field. So yeah, take a nice drive down the river, won't you? And see a whole lot of goals in a very intimate setting. It's a real nice field, and there's a real nice backdrop.
Yeah.
I really like it down there in LaCrosse. So hopefully we'll see some City fans make the trip.
I had quite a few good trips to LaCrosse back in my day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's a brewery nearby.
There is, yeah. So get hopped up, literally. So, on top of the NPSL action, Nate, our young boys have been playing. So maybe a little rookery roundup here.
Let's do it.
So our young boys are now 2 feet into their summer game schedule as they played 2 games since we last spoke. The first being a 3-0 win versus Stegman's SC, which is definitely close to our clubhouse. And it was a welcome change from their first match versus FC Varaya, where they saw the scoreline knotted at 1-1, missing buckets full of chances. Well, the boys went to work at training and fixed that issue, where we saw young striker Niels Gilbronson score a brace. That's 2 goals if you're not following along. And setting up the third goal, which was a goal scored by Ben Keller of Luther College. The run of play was really the same, where chances were created at a consistent level, then the defense was locked down. But it was all anchored by a shutout by our first-time rooker, goalkeeper Quinn Kiernett out of Bates College, recording the first ever clean sheet for the U23s. As things were just starting to come together, Nate, the rookery turned around with that momentum, and we warmed up with against our NPSL team, or we're warmed up. Wow. Okay, let me start that over. They turned that momentum around and warmed up the fans for our NPSL team on Saturday in the first doubleheader in club history, taking on the rebound match against FC Varaya. Basically figuring out those issues, Coach Matt and the staff, Coach Ryan Nichols, did a great job of preparing the team, and it totally paid off. Chances were once again plentiful, but the difference this time was that it was the run of play came from different spots on the field. Young striker, again, Neil Gulbrunson, kept up his torrid pace with another goal as he was joined to the party by Columbia University winger Avi Eller and UW Parkside Swiss Army knife Vic Vera closing out the score sheet. And then on the back half, Drake goalkeeper Luke Anderson and St. Thomas's own Troy Luegi, who we've mentioned before with the NPSL team, were credited for the joint shutout. And the boys were playing some real damn good soccer, Nate, as they prepare to travel to face the Nebraska Bug Eaters in a highly anticipated matchup this coming Saturday.
Yeah, the Bug Eaters, man, they've been doing pretty good this season. We talked to that guy earlier in the year, and he seems to have put together a decent team for his level. So hopefully our guys can hold their own. One quick question about Troy. Then he stuck around, and then he was able to come on shortly thereafter for the late game for the NPSL side. I heard. So do you feel like he'll be competing for the starting job at St. Thomas, or what?
Well, they still have Aiden Hogan coming back, who's currently in Washington D.C. playing with the under 23s for DC United.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. So probably not.
And that's his senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe it'll maybe be a gap year for Troy before he can really get a chance to compete for the starting spot. However, you never know what happens.
That's true.
Hopefully he's going to take what he's learned with us this year and move that momentum into what's going to happen with him in his college season. But he's doing the ever important facing shots and game settings with us. So
fair enough.
So overall, great matches by the young boys, and good to see them quickly identify and fix some of the things that they found were not successful, and sharpened up and kept their undefeated regular season record going 2 wins and a tie. Outside of that, their tune-up game against Minnesota United.
So beyond the Nebraska game, you can find the rest of the U23 schedule on MPLSCitySC.com. Games coming up against Granite City and the Bavarians, which is awesome.
Yep,
and the Sporting St. Croix, TC Fire. So they're going to be playing some pretty high-level teams, whether it's in the UPSL or just high-level locally.
Yep.
Kids that are also U23 caliber from
very good.
Fire and St. Croix.
Yep, we can't have all of them.
That's true. That's true.
There's plenty more around.
That's true.
So that is all for this week's show. Thank you, as always, to our sponsor, Summit Brewing. New summer and boundary water packs are pure fire. Pick one up and sample a perfectly paired mixture of multiple flavors in one spot. Summit, a more meaningful brew since 1986. It is never too late to buy a membership for 2018. For only $65, you get a cool season pass to all city matches, including NPSL and U23 games, a classy new membership scarf, and of course, a vote so you can have a say in the direction of local soccer. Go on over to MPLSCitySC.com and purchase 1 or 5 right now. If you love giving back to the community, it is an important part of your life. And it's an important part of your life. Maybe it's time to give to the club that loves to give back. Man, these closing. Maybe it's time to give to the club that loves to give back. Minneapolis City is a 501c3 that is proven to provide a safe, reliable, and fun environment for less fortunate young people to play the beautiful game. Look for us in the summer playing with kids in parks and community centers, as well as next weekend at Pride Fest. And all other spots around the city, and consider a tax-deductible donation to a truly city-focused organization. Send us mail. It's easy. Hit us up on Twitter at The People's Pitch or through email at mcscpodcast@gmail.com. All questions, comments, and concerns are welcome. And finally, as always, you can hit the club up at mplsctsc.com. That is all for this week, folks. Once again, we leave you with our house MC, Miles Stockman-Willis, a.k.a. Milays, with a new track for all of you. I am John, that is Nate, and you are the people. Come on out Wednesday, tomorrow, if you're listening to this, to Osseo High School to cheer on your Crows. They take on Twin Stars in the rubber match. Or pile in the car and caravan to LaCrosse for Saturday's matchup. And cross your fingers, folks, for another 6-point week. You got hoofed.
Got a lot of the ball lately, ballin' on them like a ball baron. Solo logo pulling hair, crazy. Run the show like I ran errands. Soon start going ball, maybe. People staring whatever I'm wearing. Wanna make you a star, baby. Chromosomes are the perfect parent. She way more than alright. Bad bitch in her genotype. Damn right, I'm tryna pipe. Only ride if it settles right. So high that settle like goosebumps from the linen. Goosebumps cause she's sinning. Touch her dick, that's spinning. Drop the tape like I'm finished. I should live in Finland. Couple homies speak Finnish. Pen a drug, penicillin. My pocket pissing is spilling. My inner drive at the ceiling. Despicable how I'm feeling. Millions like minions. Rap star / rap czar. Built a team support not far. They bring the whole PR if only a sliver in my health bar. Underdog the way I come back. Overcast make them run laps. In the club raining cats and dogs. Where the fuck the umbrellas at? Where? Shooting magic bullets, know I got the juice. Got a big head, need a wider noose. Can't feel my face, still it's kinda loose. Been the truth, not of the proof. Chain look like glitter glue. Other chain got a darker hue. Take a cruise, tip the whole crew. Whole fridge from Whole Foods. I'm rock hard, stoned offline. First time that she rock climb. Treat me like some rock candy. Now she wants a rock wine. Well worded with a slight slang. She the same cause her tongue rang. Throw shade when she sunbathed. 50 bands with my art hang. Just some G's and G events. She villas chillin', we just venting. Speaking French and hailing Frenchies. Trying to get the dream eventually, even if it takes a century. I don't wanna be a Benji decree to lead the gentry. People starving, truckers, Bentley money, we greeted. And we pat down for the entry, each assembly. What? If they don't want us, then fuck it, they're lost. Team on my back, I still carry the cross. About what I like, care less about the cause. Writing with diamonds, I'm like Robert Frost. Life is a movie, the scene is just saw. You at the dentist, I'll leave you in awe. Tell you what it is, laid on the law. Flicking you off while I'm rolling the raw.